6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Breaking now, Channel 11 learning Antonio Brown could be benched after a federal lawsuit was filed claiming he raped a woman.
An arrest made after a manhunt in Butler County. Channel 11 has breaking details on why police were looking for this man.
And today marks the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. How the nation is remembering the victims, including at the site near Shanksville. Now at noon.
Now, Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
And first to the rape allegations flying around former Steeler Antonio Brown. Breaking now, we're learning he could be benched by the NFL.
And Channel 11's Joe Arena just got a statement from the Steelers. He joins us live here in the studio with the breaking details for us, Joe.
Yeah, Peggy and Gordon, this story is literally unfolding by the minute this morning. The Washington Post just reported that the NFL is now considering placing Antonio Brown on paid leave, and by being placed on the league's exempt list would make him ineligible to play for the Patriots. And while the league continues to investigate the allegations in this case, we have a statement we want to show you right now from the Steelers that was emailed to me in the last hour. Steelers spokesman Bert Loughton sent me this statement. It's on your screen, saying the Steelers organization did not have any knowledge of the alleged incidents involving Antonio Brown prior to yesterday. If requested, the Steelers organization will cooperate in any related investigation. And just a few minutes ago, Patriots head coach Bill Belichick addressed the media. Here's what he said about the lawsuit against Brown.
Bill, were you aware of the lawsuit when you signed Antonio Brown?
I'm not going to be expanding on the statements that have already been given.
Don't you think the fans deserve to hear a little more from you on...
When we know more, we'll say more.
All right, we will have more from Bill Belichick in that press conference later as well. This statement comes, though, in the wake of a lawsuit being filed in federal court by Brittany Taylor, who went to college with Brown. The lawsuit says Brown sexually assaulted and forced himself on Taylor, who he met while they were attending Central Michigan together and whom he later hired as a trainer. According to the lawsuit, the incidents happened on 3 occasions in 2017 and 18 when Brown was with the Steelers, including one assault in Brown's Pittsburgh home. Now, Brown's attorney, Darren Heitner, also released a statement saying his client denies each and every allegation. The statement went on to say Brown would pursue all legal remedies to clear his name, and we are working on much more about this case as it continues to unfold, and we'll bring you any new developments as we get them, and we'll have the latest at 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. Peggy, Gordon.
All right, thanks, Joe. More breaking news now. Channel 11 is learning a man that prompted a massive police search in Butler County has been caught. We first followed this story in Adams Township as it unfolded last night on 11 at 11. Channel 11's Amy Marcinkiewicz just got breaking details on the suspect.
Hundreds of people in nearby neighborhoods were listening to this unfold on the scanner, and they tell me they were very scared. Here's what we've learned new today. This is the suspect, Grant Werner. This was happening on a farm off Mars Evans City Road. We're talking hundreds of acres of land. Police tell me this started as a family dispute over land, 20 acres to be exact, that the suspect wanted the land and was pressing his mom for answers. Police say it got out of control when they say Werner grabbed a gun, pointed it at her, waving it around, saying, quote, "Is this what you want?" Police say he shot once but did not hit her. According to police paperwork, she locked herself in the bathroom and dialed 911. There was so much police presence because of the acreage and the more than 14 buildings on that property that officers had to search looking for him. They eventually found him hiding in one of the barns. They also found the gun. It was not on him. But again, very scary for folks living near the scene, and we're talking to some of them. We're also talking with police, and we will have much more for you starting tonight, first at 5. Amy Marcinkiewicz, Channel 11 News.
More breaking news. The FBI is now involved in the investigation into a threat that canceled Pine Richland High School and Pine Richland Middle School today. We told you on Channel 11's Morning News when the district said it received a specific cyber threat. Now we know all after-school and evening activities involving Pine Richland High School and middle school students are canceled for the rest of the day. School will be back in session tomorrow, but with heightened security procedures. Students will be searched. No backpacks or any other bags will be allowed. Students will only be able to bring in clear plastic bags. We are in contact with police, the FBI, and the district, and we will be bringing you every update as we get it throughout the day and on Channel 11 News coming up tonight at 5.
Very warm and muggy today with highs nearing 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's like midsummer, right? And storms are going to be developing this afternoon. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh tracking the neighborhoods with the best chance to see that rain.
You can see the humidity as well as feel the humidity. I'll show you a live look at tower cam right now. Look at the haze just hanging in the air right now. Temperature's 83. The dew point now about 68, so it makes it feel like it's 86 degrees outside right now. That is well within the uncomfortable range, borderline oppressive. And this afternoon, just stifling humidity. Current heat index in Beaver, 91. It feels like 88 in Butler, feels like 89 in Washington. Temperatures today going to soar into the upper 80s. Here come the thunderstorms popping by about 4 o'clock. Widespread thunderstorms, especially north of Pittsburgh this afternoon and this evening. I'm updating some graphics to talk about the impacts you can expect to see. I'll have that plus an updated storm tracker coming up in minutes.
Today marks the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump led a moment of silence at the White House. They were joined by dozens of members of the executive branch. And a somber ceremony at Ground Zero as hundreds gathered in New York to mark this anniversary. The ceremony began with the delivery of the American flag. At 8:46, the ceremony paused for a moment of silence to mark the time when the first plane hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
And Vice President Mike Pence at the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville honoring heroes. 18 years later, still a very emotional ceremony.
Channel 11's Melanie Marcelco joins us live in Shanksville with the Vice President's message. Melanie?
Well, Peggy, Gordon, the 18th anniversary of 9/11 here in Shanksville, much like that 18 years ago as far as the weather goes. Blue skies, the sun is shining. The morning United Flight 93 crashed in this field here in Somerset County. The ceremony today honoring and reflecting the 40 passenger and crew on board of Flight 93. As they do every year, they read the names of the 40 on board and rang a bell after each name. Vice President Mike Pence among the key speakers today. He said himself he was so grateful for the heroes of Flight 93 because he was serving in Congress that day, and Flight 93 was diverted away from its intended target, the Capitol building, just 18 minutes before it would have hit. He talked about bringing his family here when there was only a makeshift memorial here less than a year after the attack, and told the families of Flight 93 we must never forget to tell their story and honor their memory always.
America was attacked on September the 11th. But America took the fight back to our enemies on that very same day. Not on some foreign battlefield, but right here, in the skies above these fields, where the heroes of Flight 93 were forged.
The ceremony itself lasted just over an hour and 15 minutes. Mike Pence and his wife Karen took part in the wreath-laying ceremony at the Wall of Names. They also followed the family down to the impact site. A lot of incredible words spoken today by a lot of incredible people. We'll have much more on that coming up tonight at 5. Reporting live in Somerset County, I'm Melanie Marcelco for Channel 11 News.
Our coverage continues later on in this newscast. Ahead at 12:30, how a retired flight attendant, now volunteering at the Flight 93 Memorial, is making sure we never forget.
The man is accused of stealing a firefighter's personal truck. Police say he had just crashed his own car when he took off from the crash scene in Doherty Township in the pickup. Channel 11's Mike Holden joins us live in Beaver County with new information. Mike?
Gordon, kind of a head scratcher. It was a crazy chain of events, according to eyewitnesses and people who live in this community, but it all ended right here inside of this bar. The people we spoke with this afternoon say this guy is lucky, one, that he survived and that he did not hurt or kill anyone else on the road. Look right here. This is 42-year-old Sean Riley. He is facing DUI, resisting arrest, and theft of a motor vehicle charges after police say he crashed his own SUV and then stole a volunteer firefighter's truck. This is Riley's SUV right here, heavily damaged, windows busted out. It all started along Marion Hill Road in New Brighton. Neighbors say they heard a loud crash around 10 o'clock last night. They say Riley was driving his SUV when he lost control, crashed through a fence, and rolled the vehicle. He somehow managed to climb out. A firefighter responding from the Doherty Township Volunteer Fire Department pulled over to help him. That's when police say the suspect mustered up enough strength and stole the firefighter's pickup truck. He drove off, making it all the way up to 7th Avenue here in Beaver Falls, where he jumped out and walked into Michael's bar. Eyewitnesses say he was arrested almost immediately, but he allegedly put up a fight.
It's kind of scary. I don't know what that was about, but I'm glad the police got here so quickly, and they just seemed to take care of everything.
Now you're going to hear more from her. She's the dress shop owner who actually works right here next door. Her eyewitness accounts, plus much more from people in this area. Meantime, Riley is not in jail just yet, still in the hospital recovering. Eventually he'll be transferred over, facing several criminal charges. Reporting live this afternoon in Beaver County, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
A Westmoreland County woman who hadn't been seen since yesterday afternoon has been found safe. State police were looking for Virginia Nemec after she went missing yesterday in Irwin. They were worried because she did not have her medication. A Pirates player has been hurt after a fight with his own teammate, and now both players are facing fines. According to a statement by the team, pitcher Kyle Crick had to have surgery to repair a tendon in his right index finger. We're told he was injured during a clubhouse altercation with fellow pitcher Felipe Vasquez. Crick is now out for the season.
Well, it was a big deal when the Southside Works opened, but over the past few years, stores have been moving out, and it's not a big destination anymore. But that could change. Channel 11's Aaron Clark is live with new details on what's in the works for the works. Aaron.
Well, Peggy, many people say that the Southside Works feels like a ghost town with all of these abandoned storefronts. But eventually, there will be new stores and businesses in this area. The new owner of the 34-acre mixed-use complex told me his development firm plans to reconceptualize the Southside Works. New York-based Somera Road, Inc. recently got the title from the old owner and is finalizing plans with the Urban Redevelopment Authority. Those plans include bringing in businesses the community needs and wants, not the big box stores that have failed here in the past. Somera Road's principal said, think of things like a drugstore, grocery store, yoga studio, or fitness center. Community features like a mural, a farmer's market. There are also 3 vacant parcels, 2 along the Mon River, where Somera Road plans to build something new. We asked folks down here what they think about the plan.
I think that local businesses are actually a smart idea and a smart investment in Southside, especially for the community, because it is so diverse and so it's booming. It has a lot of culture to it.
And the URA board plans to vote tomorrow on whether to give Somera Road more time to develop those prime riverfront properties. On Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock, I'll have more on the entire project. Reporting live from the Southside Works, Aaron Clark, Channel 11 News.
Thanks, Aaron. A teenager carjacked while he was taking a break from work.
The one thing police say the suspect was carrying that tied him directly to the crime.
A man from Pennsylvania has been missing for more than a year. Wait until you hear where his photo just popped up.
We're hours away from showers and thunderstorms popping up. I'm tracking where those storms are going to produce 50-mile-per-hour winds.
You're streaming WPXI now, your source for original local shows. Check out the intense, action-packed world of esports. Top plays and interviews on Esports Weekly, Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. on WPXI.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're a team you can count on to cover stories that impact your life.
Whether it's across the street or around the world.
Channel 11 News at 6.
And NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Watch The Wendy Williams Show every weekday at 11, right here on Channel 11.
A teenager carjacked on his dinner break. Police say the suspect forced him to drive 20 miles before forcing him out of the car near the New Stanton exit of I-70. Channel 11's Kara Sapida found out how a credit card helped police catch this guy.
This teenager was parked here at the Pilot parking lot in Bentleyville, just eating his dinner inside of his car when a man walked right up, opened the passenger side door, forced his way inside and said, "Drive or I'll kill you." A terrifying ordeal for a local teen started at this Bentleyville truck stop last week. He was on his dinner break, pulled into the truck stop to eat in his car and use their Wi-Fi when a man opened his unlocked passenger side door and used a backpack to push his way inside. Police say 28-year-old Kenneth Hibbs, who was in town from Alabama for unknown reasons, forced the teen to drive away. According to the criminal complaint, he told him to drive south, repeatedly threatening him, saying he would die if he did not do it. State police say the frightened teenager drove more than 20 miles on Interstate 70 as Hibbs told him to drive faster. And just as they approached the New Stanton exit, Hibbs told him to pull over on the highway. The teen told police Hibbs grabbed his hands and forcibly made him unbuckle, made him open the door, pushed him out right onto the interstate. Hibbs ended up using the victim's credit card, which helped police track him down in Greensburg the next day. I found out today that teenager managed to walk all the way to a local lawn care business in Westmoreland County, and a nighttime worker helped him call police. Hibbs is in the Westmoreland County Jail. Reporting in Bentleyville tonight, I'm Kara Sapida, Channel 11 News.
Drone 11 is getting a look at a church destroyed by fire. We can see right into a hole left in the roof of the Sheridan United Methodist Church. This has dealt a huge blow to this community. That church served free meals monthly. They also hosted kids' activities and a community thrift store, and always provided a safe space for neighbors. Church leaders tell us that they'll hold service this Sunday in the lot next to the church.
Pictures of a missing Pennsylvania man have shown up on a dating website, but his family says it is not him.
That wasn't Bill's style. He was far from a Facebook or a tech-savvy guy.
No one has seen Bill Morse for more than a year. He disappeared last June from the Hazleton area. The photos used on the dating app were taken from the Bill Morse Missing Facebook page.
We're struggling with the fact that we can't find out where Bill is. For somebody to post something like that really is in poor taste, in my opinion.
Friends say it is unlikely that Morse is the one behind the dating profile. Meanwhile, there's a $10,000 reward for information that helps police to find him.
New video out today shows the moments Hurricane Dorian made landfall in the Bahamas. The powerful storm left a muddy, debris-strewn landscape across Abaco and Grand Bahama Islands, which are known for their marinas, golf courses, and all-inclusive resorts. For days, the hurricane pounded the islands with winds of more than 200 miles per hour. Dorian also brought torrential rains. Neighborhoods were swamped. By one estimate, nearly half of the homes were destroyed. The hurricane killed at least 50 people, largely in the hard-hit Great Abaco Island. A tour of Marsh Harbor shows another look at the widespread destruction. Houses there leveled, boats tossed onto roads, and fallen trees extend across the town. The World Food Program estimates some 70,000 people are in need of food and shelter.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Now, when you have sustained winds topping 140 miles per hour for a 24-hour straight period, you're going to get that kind of destruction, because it's literally like a tornado just going over the same area for 24 straight hours. In some places, saw those wind gusts, as Gordon mentioned, in excess of 200 miles per hour. Around here today, we're calm and quiet for the moment. Live storm tracker, Doppler 11 radar, nothing much going on. A couple of showers back to the west, but what I expect to happen in the next couple of hours, some thunderstorms to start to pop, primarily northeastern Ohio and eventually northwestern Pennsylvania. Dynamics are pretty good to get those thunderstorms to crop up probably in the next 3 or 4 hours. And Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper will be in all afternoon and evening tracking these storms as they develop. 4 o'clock, one near East Brady and Brady's Bend up into Armstrong, Clarion, northeast Butler County. By 6 o'clock, notice the thunderstorms starting to really form along that I-80 corridor, and I am a little concerned about some localized flooding from repeated rounds of heavy rain. Tune back in tonight at 5 and 6. Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper tracking these, but I'm also going to have more on what training is and why that can lead to flooding in certain parts of the area. By 7, 8 o'clock tonight, starting to drop them down to the south a little bit. Again, this is one of those nights. Not everyone's going to have a thunderstorm, but there will be some spots that do get some heavy rain and get some gusty winds in excess of 50 miles per hour. So just keep in mind, if you're outside late this afternoon and this evening, if you hear thunder, head indoors because the lightning can travel farther than the sound of thunder. So if you hear thunder, that means lightning is close enough to strike. Overnight tonight, we really quiet down by first thing tomorrow morning. Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma has our entire area painted into the risk for isolated severe storms, and by definition a severe thunderstorm has to have at least 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch hail. Dynamics today show that the winds are the better concern than the hail today. I think some of the wind gusts could top that 50-mile-per-hour mark easily this afternoon. And again, if you get repeated rounds of heavy rain, watch for some localized flooding. Overnight tonight, another muggy night, only down to 68. Not quite as toasty tomorrow, but still very muggy. 84 in Pittsburgh tomorrow, 82 in Butler. Notice the shower and thunderstorm activity tomorrow. Limited. I do not think we're going to see any sort of widespread severe weather tomorrow. As a matter of fact, best chance of a thunderstorm is southwest of Kittanning during the afternoon and early evening hours. So many dry hours during the day tomorrow. Do some rain today. We'll do some rain tomorrow. We'll do some rain Friday. All told, about a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain, maybe slightly more in the extreme western part of the Channel 11 viewing area. 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Some scattered storms again Friday, 82. Then right now the weekend looks pretty decent. Partly sunny skies, still a little on the muggy side, especially Sunday. 80 for the high Saturday. Sunday's high, 81 degrees. I will be getting an updated storm tracker in the next couple minutes. I'll have that fresh look at the hour-by-hour timing coming up next half hour.
A church is facing bankruptcy, but parishioners say they've seen a sign of hope.
They say tears were flowing down the cheeks of this Virgin Mary statue. A closer look at the picture, they say, proves it.
And another death has been linked to vaping as the Allegheny County Health Department announces 13 new cases. We're learning what the victims have in common next.
and traffic updated every 10 minutes on Channel 11 Morning News.
New details on vaping dangers right here in southwestern PA. The Allegheny County Health Department is now investigating 13 cases of severe lung illnesses. That's more than double the number from where things stood yesterday. Local health leaders are working with the state health department and the CDC. They have not pinpointed a single device, ingredient, or additive, but as we told you last week, they did find some patterns of vitamin E oil in the patients. Most of the patients also used vaped products that had THC. Doctors believe it's not a germ. They're looking at all the chemicals in vape juice, and there are a lot of them.
The bottom line is this is a real phenomenon. Parents, you need to look out for your kids, find out what they're doing, educate them that this is dangerous.
The vaping industry is pushing back, insisting this is not a crisis linked to their products, but illegal THC oils, the active ingredient in marijuana.
A Chicago church is facing bankruptcy, and parishioners believe they have signs of a miracle. They say a Virgin Mary painting inside the church began weeping over the weekend. A church worker noticed what looks like tears falling down the cheeks of the icon of the Virgin Mary on Sunday and took this picture. That picture was shared on social media, and now the curious and believers are flocking to the church to see it for themselves.
It just confirmed something that I believe.
You have to approach these things kind of cautiously, but I would say yes, it is possible.
This comes as the church faces financial hardship. It is about $8 million in debt, and unless the money can be raised quickly, the building will be sold. Parishioners hope that the sighting of the Weeping Virgin Mary will help save their church.
The nation honoring the victims of 9/11. How a retired flight attendant, now volunteering at the Flight 93 Memorial, is making sure we never forget.
Heat, humidity, and instability. I'm tracking when those showers and thunderstorms are going to start to pop up in your neighborhood.
3 great rides, 2 important causes, 1 amazing day. Don't miss the Winter Foundation's 7th annual 3-2-1 bike ride to end melanoma and pancreatic cancer. Sunday, October 13th on the North Shore. Choose from a 17, 62, or 80-mile fully supported route. All rides take place on the beautiful Great Allegheny Passage Trail. Sponsored by WPXI, Trek, Panera Bread, and UPMC Hillman Cancer Center. Register now at 321.
11 at 11. 11 minutes of news and weather before the first commercial.
Well, you'll definitely notice a difference if you head outside today. A big warm-up.
Yeah, summer's hanging around, and now you can add storms into the mix as well. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh tracking the timing for us on those scattered storms. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think after 3 o'clock, so next couple of hours, anything you need to do outside should be in fairly decent shape, and it is definitely warm. Temperatures in the mid-80s, even upper 80s now into Beaver. Now, that's only half the story. We joke all the time, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Well, with the humidity, it does feel like 92 in Beaver right now, feels like 89 in Washington. Current heat index in Pittsburgh, 86 degrees. Visible satellite, and I want to show you this because we're starting to pop a couple cumulus clouds off to the north. This is the area that will most likely start to see a couple thunderstorms first. And notice on Storm Tracker by 4 or 5 o'clock, got those thunderstorms really starting to pop north of Pittsburgh, working their way into northern Allegheny County by about 7:30 tonight. Some of these storms will produce some damaging winds and the possibility of some localized flooding. So I'm going to finish updating Storm Tracker right now, take you through the rest of the evening and the areas most likely to see the heavy rain. Have that for you coming up in 15 minutes.
Marking a somber anniversary at the Flight 93 Memorial in Somerset County. It has been 18 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks. The attacks gave a now retired flight attendant a new purpose in life.
Channel 11 News anchor David Johnson has more on her mission to make sure that the lives lost that day are never forgotten.
I can identify so strongly with those flight attendants as they took care of their passengers that day and tried to make sure, to the best of their ability, that they were safe and protected.
On September 11, 2001, Linda Artman says she never could have imagined then where she'd be today.
Working on an American Airlines flight, and I had left Boston, and my other layover from my 3-day trip was Washington, D.C., and those are the two departure cities that we lost planes on 9/11.
Artman's flight was forced to land at Chicago O'Hare International Airport. After learning what was happening, her next flight was canceled. Hours of worry and uncertainty followed.
I knew my husband was in Washington, D.C., and he had meetings scheduled at the Pentagon, and I wasn't sure when or where. So we went for hours and hours and hours that day, not knowing if the other one was alive. So I will never forget that day.
Now she doesn't want anyone else to forget the bravery of the crew and passengers on Flight 93 either.
An awful lot of what happened with Flight 93 is lost. It was the sort of the stepchild of all the other three. The other three got lots of press. They were in important places, which meant there were lots of people that were involved and lots of people to talk to and about it.
For more than 3 years, Artman has volunteered at the memorial, and she plans to never stop sharing their story.
It's something else to actually run up that aisle toward the cockpit, knowing what was going to happen. So I think it's important that people understand how courageous they were.
That was David Johnson reporting there. And while you probably remember where you were when the towers fell, current high school students weren't even born yet. It's actually become part of their history class now. A New Jersey high school actually developed a curriculum with the help of 9/11 family members.
It's becoming a kind of World War II or a Vietnam War. However, the teachers themselves, most of them have an experience, a personal connection to the event.
Kind of hit me hard, like how so many lives were changed by it and how massive of an attack it was.
Many lessons to learn there. The new curriculum includes visits to 9/11 museums, including the Flight 93 Memorial.
There is a new effort to beautify the area surrounding the Tree of Life Synagogue. Crews will be installing decorative windscreens on the fence around the synagogue this week. The images were created by young artists in Pittsburgh and elsewhere. And we've learned that the Tree of Life's high holiday services are going to be held at a local church. The Calvary Episcopal Church on Shady Avenue is stepping in to host. Rosh Hashanah services will be Monday, September 30th and Tuesday, October 1st. The church will host Kol Nidre on October 8th and Yom Kippur on October 9th.
Breaking news in the last hour, a state Supreme Court hearing in Philadelphia about the death penalty wrapped up. Channel 11's Aaron Martin was in the courtroom and joins us now with the key questions at the center of this debate. Aaron?
Within the last 90 minutes or so, justices with Pennsylvania's Supreme Court just wrapped up hearing a case that could have some broad implications, particularly when it comes to the most heinous convictions here in Pennsylvania. Here in the City Hall in Philadelphia, they were listening to whether the death penalty is constitutional. Keep in mind, there hasn't been an execution in Pennsylvania in more than 2 decades, but the argument was brought before the court trying to find out whether they could do it or whether this was considered a cruel punishment, something that would not hold up in Pennsylvania's Constitution. We heard arguments on both sides for well over an hour during this case, including some justices that were a little skeptical as to whether this is a decision they could be making. It's something that will be going back and forth, and those justices will make a decision on sometime within the next few months. Now, coming up tonight on Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock, we'll get more into the arguments that actually happened, why some justices were unclear whether this is something that should even be in front of them, and why the petitioners believe this is an opportunity for Pennsylvania to potentially be overruling the death penalty and to join more than 20 other states in doing so. We'll have that for you tonight starting at 5 o'clock. Reporting in Philadelphia, Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
A Duquesne man is on trial this week accused of selling the drugs that were used in a deadly overdose. Police say text messages on the victim's phone prove Tyree Saunders was his heroin dealer. Jeremy Clark died in Clairton in 2017. Clark had pure fentanyl in his system. Governor Wolf has signed his 7th renewal of what was originally a 90-day opioid disaster declaration. That declaration gives state agencies more freedom in the fight against the epidemic. Since the declaration was first signed last year, the governor says the state has expanded access to the prescription drug monitoring program, and more than 258 tons of drugs have been collected and destroyed.
Workers at a Washington County metal processing company are on strike. The union workers at Langloth Metallurgical Company tell us that this is not about money. They say they're fighting for dignity and respect for seniority. We're told they've spoken to the company's attorney, but there's no date yet for negotiations. New video shows the moments when a pipeline in Kentucky exploded, killing a woman. You can see right there that huge fireball in the sky. Pipeline safety is a big concern here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Just last year, an explosion destroyed a home in Beaver County. And now Congress is debating legislation designed to specifically to fix the problems at the National Transportation Safety Board Investigators found that contributed to that disaster. The proposal would impose tougher penalties on violators, allowing fines to go up dramatically. Congress has to act soon on pipeline safety. The current 10-year legislation that governs the nation's pipelines expires in September.
The Highland School District is making changes to their disciplinary protocol. Officials say out-of-school suspension will soon be a thing of the past for elementary and middle school students. Instead, the students will be sent to the Rams Reflective Room. Students will spend time with specialists to address problems that may lead to a suspension. The new program began this school year. It is not, though, an option for high school students. A local neighborhood covered in mysterious dust.
Can you imagine? It does that to the paint on your vehicle. What's it doing to you that you're breathing it?
Channel 11 learned where it's coming from and what the health department is doing about it.
Johnson and Peggy Finnegan on Channel 11 News at 5.
The rideshare company Lyft says it has issued an update on its safety features. The company said it is now making an in-app 911 feature available to riders. Lyft also says it has partnered with anti-sexual assault nonprofit RAIN to create a mandatory safety exercise for driver applicants. The update comes after 14 women sued Lyft, claiming the company mishandled their sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and rape complaints against Lyft drivers.
We've learned white dust covering cars and homes in Harrison Township is coming from a nearby metals plant. The health department says the dust is actually particles of lime from the Harsco plant. They started investigating when neighbors filed complaints. Many people tell us that they've been dealing with this for 20 years.
Yeah. It used to be so bad that there would be an eighth to a quarter of an inch of dust.
Harsco said in a statement, quote, "At every job site, Harsco makes environmental compliance a top priority, and we are cooperating with the county in its inquiry. As a matter of policy, however, we do not comment on potential agency matters." Well, if you shop on Amazon, you've likely noticed not everything comes directly from Amazon.
And our consumer advisor says, buyer beware what to look out for when you're shopping for toys.
Just a couple hours away from storms popping, I'm tracking which neighborhoods are going to hear thunder and see lightning first.
You're streaming WPXI Now, your source for original local shows. Get the inside scoop on all the hot events, entertainment, and celebrities in and around Pittsburgh every week. Stream Access Pittsburgh on demand anytime on WPXI. Stephen Cropper, tracking the weather in your neighborhood. Channel 11 Morning News brings you breaking news first. We tell you what happened overnight and the breaking news happening right now, so you're connected to the important stories where you live. Check out the difference on Channel 11 Morning News.
Taco Bell is making its vegetarian offerings a permanent section of the menu. The meat-free items are certified by the American Vegetarian Association and include a black bean Crunchwrap Supreme, a black bean quesarito, and 11 other items. Taco Bell says it has long been a friend to vegetarians with its bean burrito on the menu for some 50 years. Well, people are still buzzing about the new products Apple unveiled yesterday. It is rolling out 3 new phones, the iPhone 11, Pro, and Pro Max. The cheapest, the iPhone 11, is priced at $699. That's $50 less than the iPhone XR. Beware of what you buy. Our consumer advisor has a warning on what to look out for on Amazon.
I got to tell you something. When you start getting into shopping mode for Christmas, looking for stuff for kids, if Amazon's a normal place that you go to look, you need to know about an in-depth investigative study by the Wall Street Journal that found that a huge number of items being sold for children are unsafe. You got to know how Amazon works. Most items being sold on Amazon, Amazon's just a marketplace. In fact, that's what they call it, the Amazon marketplace. It's kind of like going to eBay. Amazon really doesn't have any oversight on what those people are doing, even if an item is marked Amazon Choice or available to you under Prime. You can look and see, and I've got the steps at Clark.com to make sure on your phone or your laptop that the item is actually being sold by Amazon itself instead of by one of these third-party sellers where so many of the safety-related problems have been present for children. I'm Clark Howard.
And you can see more from Clark Howard on our streaming app. Just search for WPXI on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
I know we're all a little bit different, but not what I want to see in the middle of September. Actually, I don't want to see 90 degrees any time of the year, frankly, but it's 90 in Beaver right now, 83 in Pittsburgh, 84 in Greensburg. Now, I am a little suspect on that number because it's a little higher than everyone else, but most areas will make upper 80s this afternoon. And when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like low 90s by about 3 or 4 o'clock across the entire area. Current heat index in Washington, 89. Greensburg, 88 degrees. Visible satellites starting to pop a couple clouds in the two areas we're looking at first are up along the I-80 corridor where it's closer to the front. It's across the Great Lakes and down to the south near the mountains where there's a little extra lift because of the mountains. That air pushes against the western slopes of the mountains, has to come up, get a little quick lift and easier to pop some showers and thunderstorms. Here's Storm Tracker, 1 p.m. Still quiet, but notice by the time we get to about 4, already getting some thunderstorms to pop up into Mercer County, a couple of showers into Butler, Armstrong County. Those will develop into thunderstorms. 7:30 this evening, about a half hour before sunset, pretty strong thunderstorm from Saxonburg southeast into Plum Township, near Oakmont, Natrona Heights, and New Kensington. And as we get into the evening hours, that will begin to wind down just a little bit. So this afternoon and this evening, scattered thunderstorms developing. 87 for the temperature at 4 o'clock this afternoon. By the time we get to 10 o'clock tonight, temperature down to about 75 degrees, but a very muggy 75 degrees. And we'll begin to shut things off as we get into the evening hours. Keep in mind, if you do hear thunder, head indoors, because that's the mantra that we use when thunder roars. Head indoors. It's easy to remember. If you can hear thunder, it means you're close enough to be struck by lightning. So that's the thing you got to watch out for this afternoon, is just listen for that thunder. Of all the severe weather threats late this afternoon and into this evening, I think the biggest one is going to be wind. Wind gusts possible in excess of 50 miles per hour. In the strongest storms, and isolated flooding possible where you get repeated rounds of heavy rain. Now keep in mind, this is typical summertime stuff. Not everyone's even going to get wet this afternoon and this evening. These are for the people that do get the thunderstorms. If you get a thunderstorm, expect it to be a strong thunderstorm. Down to 68 overnight tonight with scattered showers, and there could be a storm in spots this evening. Then tomorrow, showers, maybe a couple of storms. Most of the day tomorrow actually looks fairly dry. Just looking at some new data for this afternoon into first thing tomorrow. Could dry out for several hours during the day tomorrow, so most of the day tomorrow rain-free. 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Scattered storms again Friday, but the bulk of those are going to be late afternoon and evening and could interfere with some high school football games on Friday night. Saturday and Sunday both look pretty good. Partly sunny on Saturday. Could be some more thicker cloud cover in the morning. High temperature of 80 degrees. Sunday partly sunny. We'll make it to 81.
Some breaking news into our newsroom in just the last few minutes. Target 11's Rick Earl confirming that the Allegheny County District Attorney will be looking into sex assault allegations against Antonio Brown. In a civil suit, Brown's former trainer claims the New England Patriot assaulted her several times, including once at Brown's home in Pittsburgh. Brown has denied these allegations, saying that the encounters were consensual. This site is a little wilder than grazing goats, where backyard bobcats were caught on camera. Next. News at 5, covering more news in Westmoreland County. A guy in New Mexico got a taste of the animal kingdom during his breakfast.
Yeah, he spots a family of bobcats prowling in his backyard.
There's 3 of them. No way.
Yes way. One of the bobcats looks right at him. He was eating breakfast when something caught his eye, something moving in his peripheral vision, so he grabbed his phone to take the video. He says he's used to seeing coyotes in his neighborhood, but nothing like this.
Bobcats are a bit more, a bit rare, so it was very special to see them that morning.
Well, he posted the video on the Nextdoor app to warn neighbors. Eventually, the bobcats wandered off and did no harm. You could see his own cat there. Fortunately, was
recognizing his relatives.
Yeah,
right?
Stayed inside though.
That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast comes up tonight at 5.
You can get breaking news updates anytime on our streaming apps. Just search WPXI on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
The 7-day forecast, now on your screen all the time on Channel 11 News.
This is Take 5, highlighting Western Pennsylvania's most innovative and successful businesses.
Hello and welcome to Take 5. I'm Heather Havira. Today I'm joined by